Have you ever wondered why you wake up every morning coughing and clearing out that sticky, uncomfortable mucus from your throat? For many people over 60, this has quietly become a part of their daily routine, like an uninvited guest that shows up again and again, without fail. You might assume it's just a normal part of aging, or maybe the remnants of an old cold that never quite went away. But the truth is often more complicated, and more important than it seems. That morning phlegm you've been brushing off isn't always harmless. In fact, it may be your body's way of gently telling you that something deeper is going on inside. If we ignore it or treat it the wrong way, what starts as a small nuisance could turn out to be an early sign of something bigger. That's why this video was made, not to scare you, but to sit down and have an honest, compassionate conversation about what your body might be trying to say. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore 5 of the most common reasons why so many older adults live with this issue every morning. These aren't guesses or vague assumptions. They're rooted in medical research, but explained in a way that feels personal and easy to understand. More importantly, I'll walk you through a few practical steps you can start taking right now, today, to feel more comfortable in the morning, and maybe even healthier over time. So if you're 55 or older, and you're tired of starting the day with a heavy, irritated throat, this message is for you. And if you're caring for someone you love, someone aging, who's going through this, I hope you'll take a few moments to listen. This just might be the missing piece you've been looking for to help them breathe easier and live a little better one day at a time. I encourage you to stay with me through the end because we'll talk about what's really causing this issue, how to care for it gently but correctly, and why even the smallest changes can be the first steps toward living safer, stronger, and even longer. Let's begin. Have you noticed that your throat often feels itchy or sticky every morning, and no matter how many times you clear it, that sensation never really goes away? You might think it's minor, just one of those things that come with getting older. But what many people don't realize is that behind that layer of uncomfortable mucus, there may be a very common but overlooked cause, postnasal drip, quietly brought on by the aging of your sinus system. As we age, the lining inside our nose can start to dry out. The tiny hairs called cilia that once swept away dust and mucus begin to slow down. And instead of draining out through the nose like it used to, the mucus starts to drip backward down into the throat. That's what creates that persistent stuck feeling, like your throat is never quite clean. While not dangerous, it wears away at your comfort and peace of mind, especially in the early hours of your day. Some people develop a dry cough that won't go away. Others find themselves apologizing constantly for the sound of throat clearing during conversations. It happens so often that some begin to withdraw from social life altogether. I once met a woman in her 70s who stopped going to church just because she was embarrassed by the sound of clearing her throat in a quiet room. And she wasn't alone. That discomfort doesn't just affect the body, it reaches into your sense of confidence and self-worth. Many people hide it, live with it, silently thinking, I guess this is just what getting older feels like. But the truth is, this can be improved, and you can wake up feeling clearer, cleaner, and more at ease in your own body. Postnasal drip tends to get worse in cold, dry environments. If you use indoor heating frequently or if you experience acid reflux at night, the symptoms can be even stronger. But here's the good news. Sometimes even the simplest changes can bring real relief. Elevating your pillow just a little, using a humidifier by your bed, or starting your morning with a warm glass of water and a thin slice of lemon. Small shifts, but they can make a noticeable difference in how you feel. So if you've been struggling with morning mucus, I encourage you to pause and really listen to your body. That morning discomfort could be its quiet way of saying, I need a little help. And the good news is, you can give it that help. You don't have to begin every day fighting your throat. You can start it with a little more ease, a little more freedom, and a lot more comfort. Next is the second reason, and it might surprise you. Many people assume that morning phlegm always starts in the lungs or sinuses. But in some cases, the source is actually your stomach. There's a condition called silent acid reflux, also known as laryngopharyngeal reflux, and it affects a large number of older adults, especially those over 60, without them even realizing it. Unlike classic acid reflux, which causes that burning sensation in the chest, silent reflux doesn't cause pain. It doesn't come with clear symptoms. Instead, it sends small amounts of stomach acid up into the throat, during sleep quietly and gradually. As a result, the throat becomes irritated and inflamed, and your body starts producing mucus as a way to protect itself. Many people wake up with that familiar tightness or tickle in the throat. They clear it, cough, or notice their voice sounds a bit hoarse. They assume it's allergies, a sore throat, or just another sign of aging. But in reality, the body is doing its best to heal a small, ongoing irritation that you may not even know is happening. As we age, the lower esophageal sphincter, the valve that keeps acid where it belongs, begins to weaken. So at night, when you're lying down, acid can more easily creep up into the throat. Night after night, this silent burn irritates the lining of your throat, and every morning you wake up with that uncomfortable layer of mucus once again. I remember Emma, a 68-year-old woman, who believed she had chronic bronchitis because she coughed up phlegm every single morning. But her lungs were perfectly healthy. After trying a few simple changes, raising her pillow at night, avoiding food after 7 p.m., and sipping warm ginger tea before bed, her morning mucus disappeared. As it turned out, the issue wasn't in her throat at all. It started in her stomach. What pains me most is the helplessness so many people feel. They take care of themselves, they eat well, they try to stay active, and yet they can't seem to shake the daily coughing and phlegm. Eventually, they stop explaining it to others. They stop hoping for answers. But the truth is, you don't have to keep living with this. Once you understand the real cause, you're already halfway toward feeling better each day. So if any of these symptoms sound familiar, try making a few gentle shifts in your habits. Raise the head of your bed. Avoid late-night meals and cut back on acid-producing foods like tomatoes, oranges, or chocolate in the evening. Instead, end your night with a mild ginger tea. And most importantly, talk to your doctor not just about heartburn, but about silent reflux too, because sometimes that tight feeling in your throat each morning isn't something you have to live with. It's something you can change. If this part resonates with you, leave a comment with the number 2 so I know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and click that button and turn on the notifications, so the next time I share something important, it'll find its way to you. Now let's keep going. Have you ever asked yourself why your throat feels dry, sticky, or raw every morning? Even when you're not sick, many people think mucus only shows up when the air's humid or the weather changes. But the truth is actually the opposite. Mucus often becomes thicker and more stubborn when the air is too dry. And unfortunately, that's the exact environment many older adults live in, rooms with heaters running in the winter or air conditioners blowing in the summer. Both do the same thing. They strip moisture from the air you breathe. When the lining of your nose and throat becomes dry, your body treats that dryness like a minor injury. To protect you, it starts producing more mucus, almost like a soothing, protective barrier to keep things moist and block out dust or irritants. You can't see this dryness. You can't smell it. You can't touch it. But your body senses it, and it responds the only way it knows how, by making mucus. That's why so many older adults, who don't even have respiratory conditions, still deal with persistent morning phlegm. I think of Mr. Peter, 72 years old, who battled phlegm every morning for over a year. He tried everything, cutting out dairy, changing toothpaste, switching medications, but nothing worked. Then one day, his daughter gave him a small humidifier to keep by his bed. After just 1 week, the phlegm had noticeably decreased. By the second week, it was nearly gone. No drugs, no big lifestyle changes, just one small shift, adding back the moisture the air had taken away. As we age, the body naturally loses hydration more easily. Our mucous membranes become thinner, our skin dries out, and even our glands produce less fluid. On top of that, many medications commonly used by older adults, like blood pressure meds, allergy pills, or diuretics, can all lead to further dryness. So spending the night in a room with dry air, whether from heating or cooling systems, can be enough to irritate your throat by morning. The challenge is that this irritation isn't just physically uncomfortable. It quietly chips away at your quality of life. You hesitate to eat breakfast because your throat feels off. You avoid phone calls because you're afraid you'll need to cough. You cancel meetups because you just don't feel quite right. But here's the good news. Sometimes just one small change, like using a humidifier, placing a bowl of water near your heater, or drinking a full glass of water before bed, and again after waking up, can make all the difference. Your body at this stage in life doesn't need complicated solutions. It just needs gentle support. And when you give it that, it no longer has to fight through mucus to protect you. Instead, you get to start your mornings with clarity, ease, and the kind of comfort you truly deserve. Next, we'll talk about one of the most surprising causes of morning mucus, the one most people never see coming. Have you ever wondered why you wake up every morning with a dry throat, a buildup of phlegm, or the constant need to clear your voice? Even though you didn't eat anything strange the night before, you're not sick and you don't have a fever. Many people chalk it up to allergies, the weather, or just aging. But there's a silent culprit that often goes unnoticed: silent acid reflux. Unlike the classic form that comes with a burning sensation after a big meal, silent reflux creeps up during sleep, painless with no heartburn, but still powerful enough to send small amounts of acid up from the stomach to the throat. That acid irritates the soft tissues, and in response, your body produces mucus to protect itself. It's hard to recognize because it doesn't make much noise. But if you often wake up needing to clear your throat, if your voice sounds hoarse in the morning, or if your throat just feels like something is stuck, there's a good chance this isn't a cold or a sore throat at all. It could be reflux. Especially after the age of 60, as the lower esophageal sphincter, your body's natural acid gate begins to weaken, and your activity level slows down. Sometimes you eat late, then lie down too soon after. All of this creates the perfect environment for reflux to happen silently night after night. I remember Maria, 68 years old, who struggled with this feeling for months. She was clearing her throat dozens of times a day, going from doctor to doctor with no clear answers. But once she made just a few changes, eating dinner earlier, avoiding tomatoes in the evening, not lying down right after eating, the phlegm almost completely disappeared. That wasn't a miracle. That was understanding her body better. What I see all too often is that the real suffering isn't just the mucus itself, it's the confusion, the not knowing, the fear that something's wrong even when no test can explain it, the hoarseness, the awkward coughs, the growing hesitation to speak up or socialize. But you don't have to live that way. Once you understand what's happening, you can take back control, and with just a few gentle changes in your daily habits, you might notice a real difference. Take a moment to listen to your body. Ask yourself, am I eating too late? Am I having too much tomato citrus or acidic foods at night? Maybe all it takes is a cup of ginger tea instead of dessert. Or raising the head of your bed just a few inches to help you sleep more peacefully and wake up feeling clearer. Because often, the real discomfort doesn't come from what you see, it comes from what's happening quietly inside. And once you understand that, you'll know how to care for yourself in a way that's both gentle and effective. Thank you for listening this far. If anything here resonates with you, leave a comment with the number 4 so I know you're still with me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that the next time I share something like this, you won't miss it. Now let's talk about one final cause and how everything we've covered comes together in a way that can truly change your mornings. Have you ever stopped to wonder if the very air inside your own home might be silently making your mornings more uncomfortable, leaving your throat dry, sticky with mucus, and harder to breathe? For many people over 60, this doesn't come from a virus or any serious illness. It comes from something that seems harmless: dry air. It might sound simple, but when the humidity in your room drops too low, especially in winter, when the heat is running, or in summer, with the air conditioning constantly on, your entire respiratory system is forced to react. And the most common reaction, your body starts making more mucus. When we're younger, the lining in our nose, throat, and lungs does a good job staying moist. But over time, that lining becomes thinner, more sensitive, and easier to irritate when exposed to dry, cold air. So your body does the only thing it knows how to do: it produces mucus to soothe, to trap dust, and to rehydrate those drying tissues. But the more mucus it makes, the more uncomfortable you feel. The coughing, the throat clearing, the congestion, the shortness of breath, and sadly, many people think it's just allergies or just getting old. I remember Mr. John, a retired teacher in his 70s. Every morning he sat by the window, sipped his coffee, and cleared his throat like clockwork. He thought it was just normal aging. But during a visit to his daughter's home in Florida, where the air was more humid, he noticed something strange. The phlegm disappeared. When he got back, he tried placing a small humidifier in his bedroom and living room. Within a few days, the morning coughing dropped from 30 times to just 1 or 2. No medications, no drastic changes, just adding moisture back into the air. Dry air doesn't just make breathing harder. It thickens, mucus makes it stickier, and creates the perfect environment for dust and bacteria to build up. It doesn't cause fever, it doesn't give you chest pain, but it slowly chips away at your comfort and your confidence. You hesitate to answer phone calls, to have conversations, or to meet friends, all because the coughing won't stop. But sometimes the help you need isn't found in a prescription. It's found in the air around you. A small humidifier, a warm glass of water before bed, a few houseplants, or simply opening your windows a few times a week. These small actions can make a big difference. They help you breathe better, sleep deeper, and wake up feeling lighter. So if you've been frustrated with morning phlegm, try pausing for a moment to notice, is your room too dry? Are you drinking enough water before and after sleep? Have you ever tried adding moisture to the air instead of letting your throat dry out? Sometimes the best way to breathe easier is to simply treat your breath with more care. If you've ever started your morning with a cough, a stubborn layer of mucus, or just a heavy, nameless discomfort that leaves you feeling drained, please pause for a second. You are not alone. And more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. So many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond live with confusion, even shame over lingering symptoms like coughing, phlegm, or hoarseness, without knowing why. They think it's just something they have to put up with as they age. But the truth is, every symptom has a reason. And the beautiful part is, we can do something about it. You see, our bodies don't always sound alarms with sharp pain or high fevers anymore. As we age, they speak more softly through a clearing throat, a heavy chest when we wake up, or a restless night's sleep. That's not weakness. That's the gentle whisper of a body that's carried you through so much and now asks for a little more care. The things we've explored today, from silent reflux, dry air postnasal drip, to nighttime habits and hydration, are all quiet messages from your body waiting to be heard. And often just one small change can make a big difference. A humidifier, a warm drink, a pillow raised just a few inches, a light dinner a little earlier than usual. These aren't massive overhauls. They're simple acts of kindness toward yourself. Because the most powerful thing isn't doing more, it's simply paying attention to your needs and responding with care. I hope that by the end of this video you walk away not only with some helpful tips for your health, but with a renewed sense of belief that you deserve to feel better. You don't have to just accept discomfort as part of aging. You have the right to ask questions, seek answers, and choose comfort every morning, every day. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If something I said made you pause, smile, or feel seen, please share it with us. Even a short comment could give someone else the hope they need today. And if you'd like to keep receiving warm, thoughtful content like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Wishing you a day full of easy breaths, a light heart, and hope. I'll see you in the next video.